Welcome to Alfriston, an idyllic village nestled in the Cuckmere Valley with a very dark past. Today we're going to walk through around 1,000 years of medieval history, hear about a violent smuggling gang that used a river as a contraband highway, visit a building bought for £10 which ended up saving a national institution, and then go to the pub. This is Alfriston High Street. The first thing you'll notice is it hasn't really changed in 500 years. These buildings are genuinely medieval. Timber frames, overhanging floors, a street so narrow you could almost reach out and touch both sides at once. But underneath this beauty lies a darker past, because for 100 years this beautiful village was run by a criminal enterprise, and the whole village was in on it. There was already a settlement here before the Normans arrived, and by the Middle Ages it had grown into a market town, sitting in the Cuckmere Valley, with the South Downs rolling up around it. For centuries, absolutely everyone passed through here. Monks, pilgrims, traders, then eventually smugglers. Lots and lots of smugglers. Because Alfriston in the 18th and early 19th century wasn't just a pretty village, it was the smuggling capital of East Sussex. The Cuckmere River runs right through this valley, all the way down to the coast at Cuckmere Haven. The Alfriston gang used it to bring in brandy, gin, silks and laces, all duty free and completely illegal. The man running it was called Stanton Collins, butcher by trade, violent criminal by inclination. He operated out of what is now the Ye Olde Smugglers Inn, and the building itself tells you everything you need to know about him. 21 rooms, 48 doors, 6 staircases. It's essentially a maze, and if the customs men came in the front, Collins and his crew could be out the back and gone before anyone reached the bar. There's even a story that smugglers would hide up the chimney while the customs men drank below them, and their mates would shout up when the coast was clear. Collins wasn't caught smuggling in the end. He was finally nicked in 1831 for stealing barley from a farm up the road. Sentenced to 7 years transportation. And with the leader gone, the gang fell apart. Now before we get to our next spot, have a look at this. An odd thing to find on a village green. This is a German naval mine, pulled out of the mud on the banks of the Cuckmere River in October 1943 by a man who had absolutely no idea what he was looking at. The military were called in and most of the village was evacuated, while the Royal Navy experts made it safe. A local army sergeant cleaned it up, cut off the detonator spikes and turned it into a charity collection box. A German mine designed to sink Allied ships in the Channel, ending up raising money for British prisoners of war. It was once stolen in 1957, which takes some nerve given it weighed about 1,000 kilograms and was chained to a concrete post. It was later found near Eastbourne Station, abandoned with all the money still inside. This is Alfriston Clergy House with its amazing thatched roof, wood timber frame and beautiful cottage garden. It looks charming, but what you're actually looking at is the building that might have saved the entire National Trust. The National Trust was founded in 1895, set up to protect places of historic interest, mostly open landscapes and coastlines. Having been built between 1399 and 1407, it was already nearly 500 years old, originally a residence for the parish priest. Over the centuries, it had passed through some remarkable hands. When Henry VIII dissolved Michelin Priory in 1537, the house went to Thomas Cromwell. When Cromwell was executed for treason in 1540, it became part of the estate of Anne of Cleves, and after her death it went back to the Church of England. By the late 1800s, the church had decided it was a nuisance, too expensive to maintain, and wanted to demolish it. The local vicar refused to let that happen and campaigned to save it. Eventually the National Trust agreed to take it on, paying a grand total of £10 and a further £400 to restore it. And here's the thing, the trust was so new, so untested, that if this had gone wrong and they couldn't save it, the whole organisation might have collapsed. Alfriston Clergy House was their first real test, and they passed. The National Trust now owns over 200 historic houses, hundreds of thousands of acres of countryside and coastline, and is one of the most important conservation organisations on the planet. Right next door is St Andrew's Church, built around 1360, sitting on a village green called the Tye. Nobody knows who commissioned the church, as there doesn't seem to be any records or monuments. It appears to have been built all in one go, which in itself is unusual, as most churches evolved slowly over the centuries. So ambitious for a village church that the people call it the Cathedral of the Downs. The church sits on a small mound surrounded by a flint wall, which suggests the site was a sacred place in pre-Christian period. So, same story as the yew tree in Wilmington. Christians building on top of something that was already sacred. That seems to be a running theme. An early Christian martyr called Saint Louina was said to have been murdered by unconverted Saxons in 685 CE, right here on this site. Then, in 1058, a monk called Balga visited the church. He already visited England once before and made off with the bones of 2 other saints. He tried the direct approach at first, asking the priest if he could take the bones back to the Flanders, but the priest refused. So Balgar asked if he could at least pray at the shrine overnight. The priest agreed. When the guard left the next morning, he took them. He wrapped the remains in linen, smuggled them out of the country, and back to his abbey near Dunkirk. The relics then stayed in France for 500 years until the Burqa was attacked by French Protestants and almost everything was destroyed. Only one rib bone of St Louina survived, and that's all that's left of her. Near the altar are 2 carvings, one identified as St Louina and the other as a beaver biting off its own testicles. Medieval belief held that when cornered by hunters, beavers would bite off their own testicles to escape. And because of this supposed act of sacrifice, the beaver became the Christian symbol for chastity. How bizarre. Right, that's enough religion. Let's go to the pub. This is the Star Inn, and it's been standing here since 1345, 680 years. And when it was built, it wasn't a pub at all. It was a religious hostel, put up by the Abbot of Battle Abbey to give shelter to monks and pilgrims walking the long road from Battle to Chichester Cathedral, to visit the shrine of St Richard, the patron saint of Sussex. If you were a medieval pilgrim, tired and hungry, this is where you stayed the night. It became an inn in the 1500s, and it has been serving people ever since. This red lion figurehead is from a Dutch ship that was wrecked in Cuckmere Haven. It was washed ashore and the locals helped themselves. And by locals I mean the most notorious smuggling gang in East Sussex. They made off with the figurehead and just put it on the pub. Casually stuck a piece of a Dutch shipwreck on their building. Bold move. So what have we learnt today? We've got a medieval high street that hasn't really changed in 500 years, a pub that began life as a monk's hostel and ended up as the headquarters of a violent smuggling gang, a £10 building that quietly kick-started one of the greatest conservation organisations in the world, and a monk who stole a saint's bones for his personal collection. All in one Sussex village. And that's the thing with places like this. They don't announce themselves. Alfriston just sits here in its valley, looking pretty, letting people stop for an afternoon. There are hundreds of places like this, and I want to explore them all. So, if this is your sort of thing, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.